Ring of Honor, Final Battle, 2021. Do you know what? As I said, I finished it about 20 minutes before starting recording this episode. I haven't got a bad word to say about it. The whole show. Okay. Honestly, it's aside from the fact that it's kind of sad. But that's pretty much it.
Did they do at the end of a show or at least anywhere near around the show, history packages, best of bits? It
was so well done, this show, right? It was so well done that it genuinely, what we've literally just been saying about, you like it when people, companies do callbacks of things that happened in an angle or on TV or in a segment or whatever years ago. And then they, call back to it years later because it rewards you for watching a product for so long. They did that here. You had, in between pretty much every match, there was a video package from a Ring of Honor alumni. A lot of them AEW at this point. You couldn't get the WWE guys, unfortunately, but you had Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Young Bucks, which I've got a funny story about.
Hangman,
yep. Adam Cole. They was doing that through the show, and just really cool, man. But again, kind of sad, but, April, I guess. We'll just see what happens. But literally, from the opening bell, and I haven't seen the pre-show matches, and I won't dissect every single match, but there was not a single bad match on this entire show. Everything was fantastic. Everybody just went all out. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell you what my match of the night was. Well, I think I can. I think I would say the main event.
Okay. Which
was changed very last minute.
Yeah. It meant to be Bandito defending the title against Gresham.
Was it Gresham?
Yeah, because Jay Lethal... The funny thing was, after he signed with AEW, Lethal was like, yeah, I won't be at the show. I won't be at the Final Battle. Then, obviously, because of Bandito having COVID and...
Well, that's what's done it, is I think the day before title was officially vacated, so Bandito was the reigning, and that's got to suck, man. That really has got to suck, but there's literally nothing you can do about it at that point. He tested positive for COVID, had to drop the title, it's vacated, but I'll tell you what, we got Jay Lethal versus Jonathan Gresham out of it. I might as well just go into that now. I think it probably is my match of the night. Really emotional, but especially when towards the end of the match, when you're getting towards that kind of that fourth quarter of the match, and the locker room comes down ringside and surrounds the ring, and they're all banging the mat, and they're into the match for the final moments. Mm-hmm. Yeah, emotional. But the match itself, what can you say, man? It's two probably of the best in the world, and Jonathan Gresham is easily one of the best in the world. Putting on an absolute clinic, and I mean an absolute wrestling clinic, and they didn't hold back, man. There were some shots in that match, and you're just like, man, they are not holding back. They just put their all into it, and you cannot ever say anything bad about that, because they really just left it all in the ring. And what a moment for Gresham to walk out as champ.
Do you think he would have won it if Bandito was?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think Jay Lethal wasn't going to win. I don't think, because. Like you say, he wouldn't have done.
Well, they're talking about all these different promotions, and the fact that a lot of their titles now are probably going to end up in these other promotions. Mm. And the idea, one of the talking points on commentary for the main event is that, well, look, does Jay Lethal win the Ring of Honor World Title and take it to AEW, or does Gresham win the title and take it to New Japan? Because he's going to be going over to New Japan Strong.
Good.
So either way. That championship is going to end up on another show for a few months.
What, use them as not?
Don't know.
I don't think they'll defend them, but you know how we complained about the New Japan title and AAA title being on the AEW champion
and not actually being featured as part of their show,
unless they have to.
I can imagine it's probably going to be something like that, but it probably does depend on the promotion, doesn't it?
Possibly.
New Japan, you may see it used a bit more because there is that working relationship there.
Yeah, and they do have history of Impact
and Impact as well, which we'll come to. But Gresham winning it, yeah, awesome call. Either way, I don't think you could have really had I don't want to say right or wrong answer. I think Gresham deserved it over Lethal, but that's not, it's not discrediting Lethal, but Lethal is already a former Ring of Honor champion. Actually, consecutively, if you add all the dates up, he's still the longest running Ring of Honor champion in history.
Yeah.
He's held it for the most amount of days. So, give it to Jonathan Gresham. He absolutely made that pure division.
Yeah.
So, he 100% deserved it.
And if they do return properly in April, Bandito gets probably the first match back for the title.
Yeah. And I'd be all for that if they go down that route, but we don't know what it's going to look like in April. Tricky to call it, but in terms of the way they left it, it was a really good feel-good moment. It wasn't a lackluster match either. No. It was, it capped off a show where just every match was it was just great. Like, every match was great. Everyone had something different in it. It never got boring. It was one of the quickest 3 hours of my life in terms of watching a show. And All Out may have been my favourite wrestling pay-per-view of the year, but this is easily second place for me for 2021. Because it was that good. It was that good. And then underneath that, I'd probably say Wrestle Kingdom Night 1.
That was class.
So, but I genuinely put this above, because of the emotion for this show.
Well, this is
what just tops it for
me.
And
this is a 0 episode. You have to do a top 10 now.
Well, no, that's my top 3. But yeah, hell of a match and a hell of a way to end the show. But
they didn't play Leave the Memories Alone, did they?
They didn't, no. But they did have, what you're saying, they had other video packages through the night as well. They were showing a lot of stuff. But a lot of it was also in the ring. Like, some guys were cutting promos. And one of the things I wanted to touch on, there's the tag match with Violence Unlimited, which consists of Brody King, Homicide, Tony Deppen, and Rocky Romero, taking on EC3, Eli Isom, Taylor Rust, and Tracy Williams. Now, first things first, awesome anyway, because who accompanies Violence Unlimited out to the ring? Chris Dickinson. On his crutches, awesome. He's walking about, looking good. So that was really cool to see. They pick up the win in the match, and the final moments of the match, fantastic. Really, really good. This was my match of the night up to that point when it happened. Eli takes the pinfall at the end after a really valiant effort, but there's this sequence before we get to it with guys sort of coming in and out of the ring, and it's one of those, where you hit the move, they roll out the ring, then another one comes in, hits a move on that person. But they were going through, it was a few minutes long, and they were going through moves from former Ring of Honor guys, like the alumni. So in no order, and I can't remember all of them, but the Muscle Buster was hit. Huh. They're like, Samoa Joe! Then the Haluva kick was hit. And then that, I can't remember what he calls it, but it was El Generico's.
Oh, the Brain Buster?
Yeah. So El Generico, and that started the ole, 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 ole chant going through the crowd. And again, pretty decent turnout as well, actually, for the show. It's just really cool. But they was going through everybody, man. Bryan Danielson, Spanky. It went on for a while, but they was doing just move after move. And it was it was obviously a homage to, the former Ring of Honor guys, but it was great. And it was just a bit of a spot fest, but fuck it. It's like the last pay-per-view potentially ever that you potentially might ever do. And it was just like a really cool way of acknowledging those that came before.
Well, in a way, it's a good thing they did, because WCW and ECW with their last show, it's probably known, but it's not known to everyone that it'd be their last pay-per-view.
No, exactly. And I think that's where these guys have had I suppose, they can at least end it knowing that this could be it. And again, that's why they've kind of gone all out. But yeah, it's really, really cool to see. I've got no complaints about it, and it was great. And yeah, after the match, I'm guessing this is one of the things that you've seen, but there is a debut. EC3 basically kind of is cutting this promo afterwards, and he's like, there is no honor. You keep working for companies with 3 letters in them, and it's all about money and this, that, and the other, and we leave our souls in this ring, and it doesn't matter. And anyway, Wesley Blake shows up on one side of the ramp, and another guy, I don't know who it was, but next to him.
Would it be the other Forgotten Son?
No, it wasn't, but I don't know who he was. But no, it wasn't.
Right.
Well, I don't think it was.
To be fair, I've forgotten what his name was already.
But yeah, they show up, and he's like, look, he says to Eli and Brian Johnson, who comes out with...
AC/DC singer?
Yeah. I see, he said Dirty Deeds. He was summoned. Yeah, he comes out because he's had a match earlier on in the night and he loses. Mm-hmm. Again, pure championship match, that one. Fantastic. Real quick on that. Really, really good match. But Josh Woods retains it. And I love the pure rules, like them different sort of things they do, but it was a very physical wrestling contest. But yeah, he comes out because he's kind of, EC3 mentions his name, and he says, you can basically be with me. You can live your life, your rules. It's the free the narrative story that he's doing.
Cool.
But he's like, first, you got to be beaten up, basically. First, you need to have pain inflicted upon you, and after that, you'll be free. So, release the Titan. Those are the words, and this is where you've seen what you've seen, I guess.
Yeah. The former Braun Strowman debuted.
The Titan, Adam Scherr. Looking very beastly indeed.
Yeah. He's got a shorter beard, hasn't he, nowadays?
I think he looks about the same, but his beard definitely is a lot shorter.
Yeah. But he still looks as...
Yeah, aside from that, he looked like an absolute machine. But yeah, the Titan, I guess then. We'll see what happens with that going forwards and where they end up. But this whole free the narrative thing is really interesting. Because again, I think Rockstar Spud probably going to end up there as well.
Almost likely, yeah.
Massive shocker, man. It was like, whoa, we got a debut on the last show of the last pay-per-view of Ring of Honor. And it was like, what does this mean?
Because it's like I was saying earlier, it's easy to do that when you know it is, when there's a possibility.
Sure.
When WCW and ECW finished, there was like... Because obviously WCW had their the Sin what was it? Greed pay-per-view. And then they did 2 Nitros and then they were gone.
Yeah.
ECW did their Gears Charged pay-per-view and then they might have done 1 or 2 house shows, but then that was it.
Mm.
This, you can build any promotion at any time.
Yeah.
And it will get a reaction when they appear.
Yeah. It's great. I love it. And again, excited to see where they end up with it or what might happen in April. But, we went from that match to then what then became, as I say, my next match of the night before the main event, but the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match. Briscoe's taking on OGK, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, who was then accompanied by Maria Kanellis Bennett, who came out. What a war, man. What an absolute war that was. So good. It does make me laugh with the Briscoes family at ringside, because it was basically one whole stretch of it. And I was like, man, if anyone's going to give Matt Hardy a run for their money, it's the Briscoes. In terms of just how many kids they've got. Mate, physical. And there's one spot in particular, my God. So, I think it's, I think it was Mark Briscoe, but he's hoisted up on the outside of the ring, I think by Mike Bennett, for the Doomsday device. And then Taven comes off of the rope from obviously inside the ring to the outside. And man, Mark Briscoe hits the floor hard.
Jesus.
Hard, but it was good. It was so physical, this match. But, new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions by the end of it. 12-time champions in Ring of Honor.
And considering they've been in Ring of Honor since the beginning. Literally
since the beginning. So, it's a 12th reign. I think 13th tag team reign. World title reign, anyway, if you include the New Japan...
Yeah,
New Japan one they had.
I think they had New Japan.
Yeah. But 12th one for Ring of Honor. Again, awesome. And then they cut a promo at the end. We'll take on a new tag team. Because it could be the end for Ring of Honor, but it ain't the end of the Briscoes.
No.
We'll take any team on. Lights go out. Who comes out?
FTR.
And they have a brawl and, I was like, all right. Let's go. But again, it's one of them things where are we going to see that then? Is that going to be on a Christmas special? Are we going to see it in AEW?
There was that story after the Ring of Honor announcement that Briscoes were backstage at AEW Dynamite. So that could be what they were talking about.
wherever it is, I'll be watching that because what a match that'll be. Dream match.
It could be AAA.
Well, I don't know. I doubt it'll be AAA.
Did FTR beat Luchas on AAA? I can't.
They did.
They did.
They did, yeah. They've retained the AAA titles. So, but yeah, really, really, really good. But yeah, I mean, those were the final 3 matches of the night. But
didn't what's her name? Perazzo.
Yeah, Gianna Perazzo. I was going to just about to say actually. So, women's world title, which was Roxy defending against Willow Nightingale. Roxy is could be the first and only ever women's champion.
Yeah, it did feel strange. They'd done this tournament and then again they did.
Well, I suppose they didn't know at the time.
No, and once again, going back to WCW, they only just brought in the Cruiserweight tag titles 2 weeks before they. Yeah.
But you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Roxy, again, she's probably going to go over to defend that wherever she's going to end up, I guess. And she's got a hell of a career. I mean, she's very young as well.
She's 20, isn't she?
Yeah, literally. So, I think she is. But yeah, she defeats Willow. And, yeah.
Not Jeff Hardy.
Deonna Purrazzo comes out. And it's like, look, that's a title that basically belongs to me. So, I'll fight you for it.
But she.
I don't know. Again, I don't know when this is going to be held. I think they were saying like the Christmas special. So maybe
wasn't it more like a winner takes all type thing?
No, it seemed like it was just for the Ring of Honor women's title. Right. So Deonna Purrazzo's just saying like that basically belongs to me. I should be having that. So they're going to have a match for it, I guess. We'll see what happens. But depending on what happens there, it could be some implications of where we're going to see that title end up in the future, at least for a little while. But regardless, whoever keeps it, they're going to wrestle somewhere else. So we're probably going to see it wherever it goes. But
yeah,
if again, like we said, if they use it, but yeah, that match really fun. Like Willow's quite a fun character. She's quite unique and out there. Roxy, if she didn't look so young, you wouldn't have thought like she's probably only been wrestling for however many years.
It's like
she's really good.
It's like. Cora Jade in NXT 2.0. She's 20 years old, but she's been wrestling for a while.
Yeah.
Was in AEW for about a minute, but still.
It's like we say about Hook, though. It's one of those where I think, like, if they can continue with the way they are, then they're going to be great. But no, man, like, yeah, just really, really good. And one of my other favourites for the night was the one before that, Shane Taylor and Kenny King. Fight Without Honor match. And man, this was kind of your no holds barred affair. There's a spot in this match that was fucking mental. So they have the ladder set up between the barricade and the ring apron, right?
Okay.
And they're kind of stood at either side of it, and they're slowly walking in towards each other. And Shane Taylor's a big boy, like he's a big boy. So the ladders are, It's wobbling a bit. You're like, oh god. They've got people like kind of holding it on the barricade to make sure it doesn't slip and fall or whatever.
That's fine.
And they're slugging it out. Shane Taylor's taking shots from Kenny King. Kenny King's hitting him with some closed fists, and then Taylor just smashes him with his head. Big headbutt. He goes groggy, and then all of a sudden, we're going for it. The fucking this package pile driver or whatever it's called. Getting him up for this pile driver, my god, through the ladder, but the ladder kind of just flipped slightly.
Oh.
So they like, I'm laughing, but it was fucking crazy. Basically, it was a pile driver from the ladder to the floor, and it looked like it fucking hurt, but it was amazing. Again, it was one of those things where like you didn't see this type of match in the other matches. Right. You saw weapons used for other matches, but they did stuff here that wasn't done anywhere else on the show. So it's made this match feel special.
Good.
And again, this could easily be somebody's match of the night. They hug it out at the end as well. It's just an emotional night, man. But again, yeah, really good. Before that was the Pure Rules match, which I said, amazing. If you love that kind of stuff, then you love that match. I get it's not necessarily for everybody, but, and then the opener, Dragon Lee.
Amazing.
And Ray Horace, yeah, and that was a great match as well. Like, genuinely, that probably could have been somebody's match of the night because it was really good. Dragon Lee picks up the victory there, but then you had the 4-way for the 4-corner survival match for the television title. Dalton Castle defending against Silas Young, returning Joe Hendry and Rhett Titus, and Rhett Titus walks out the champ.
Did Joe Henry do a special entrance?
Because
I know that I know who he is. I know what he's about, but I don't know.
Joe Hendry, not like a special entrance. It was just one of the, because he come back and he's looking kind of more, I suppose, jacked than he was.
Right.
But I mean, it depends what you probably mean by special entrance, really, because his entrance theme is quite,
Because I know he does like special entrance. I know he did special entrances for like ICW and.
It's Dalton Castle, he gets one, obviously, but his entrance is always very flamboyant because of the type of character he is. And the crowd, by the way, super, super behind Dalton Castle for this match. Super behind him. But Rhett Titus, as I say, picks up the win and gets the "You Deserve It" chant at the end. So there are titles that change hands on the show. Some people retain. Really, really good. The whole thing was booked incredibly well done throughout the entire thing. You had there was a really good mixture of commentary throughout the night. There were people coming and going. You had guest commentators for different matches. Obviously, of course, you had Brian Zane there as well. Brian Zane showed up. I can't remember what match it was for, though, actually, but Brian Zane definitely commentated, I think, for one match.
I know Danhausen did one match. I don't know which show, if that was pre-show or not.
I think that was probably pre-show.
Which would be a bad idea because Danhausen's over.
Danhausen is very over. Overall, man, this show, emotional. But like I said, it easily, I think, my second favourite pay-per-view of the whole year. Ring of Honor killed it. Would absolutely recommend anybody go and watch this show. I just don't have anything bad to say about it at all.
Fair enough. I wonder what would happen when they... Like Gresham, when he goes to if he does an indie show somewhere, he will be named the Ring of Honor champion, won't he?
Well, yeah, you'd imagine so. The same as any of them, isn't it? Like Gresham.
I have a belief he'll be in Impact because he's in a relationship with Jordan Grace.
Well, there was the three main promotions that were being talked about heavily through the night. And featured heavily, if you include the Ring of Honor alumni, were AEW, New Japan and Impact.
Yeah.
So, chances are most of these guys are going to end up with those three. Whether or not it's exclusive or not, I don't know. But final thing to end it on, though, I promised I had a funny story about the Young Bucks.
Go on.
So, you didn't see this live. I just saw this on Twitter. So, someone in the crowd took a picture of... because the Young Bucks package comes after the debut of the Titan Adam Scherr.
Okay.
An EC3 segment, right? So after they've beaten everybody up, they're kind of carrying them all to the back. And as they're carrying them all to the back, EC3 is following them. And obviously at this point, this is where the Young Bucks will appear on the screen and they're doing their, obviously Ring of Honor, we love these guys and blah, blah, blah. We wouldn't be where we are with it. Because that's the gist of most of the packages, right? So... they're up on the screen and somebody's took this photo of EC3 just flipping them both off. So I don't know if there's real life Heath there. I've never heard of any.
Well, it's weird that he's not been in AEW yet. EC3. He's done all the other.
Yeah, but I suppose again though, it's one of those, if he's got that story that's working for him really well at the minute, and if you can't have that play a good role within AEW, it probably shouldn't be there.
And plus,
you'd rather that story, again, as ironic as it is, because the story is about being in control of your own narrative.
Yeah. And does AEW need another faction?
No. Although there were reports that Bryan Danielson wants to create one, but there you go.
Yeah, isn't Bryan supposed to be a mass wrestler as well?
I don't know about that. But we've got the whole chaos thing that could turn into an Okada appearance, and Roppongi Vice is now return of Trent Beretta and everything else. And again, Trent got a shout out, Beretta got a shout out, Nigel McGuinness shout out. He was another one actually they paid homage to in that tag match I was on about.
I was going to say,
there's just so much. It's all fresh in my mind still, but I've not had any time to make any major notes. So I've kind of just had to recall the whole thing as my brain kind of took it all in. But which is weird because honestly I could sit there. And it's one of those, sometimes when you do the podcast and you are trying to sort of sit yourself through something just that you can talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason I'm putting this so high. It was so refreshing to just watch the show and just enjoy the wrestling. And again, it's why I'm not. It's a recap. It's not my review is that you should watch it. It was really good. I've got nothing bad to say about it.
It's not like you've watched the pay-per-view and forgotten the match actually happened like an hour after you've watched it.
Yeah, I'll forget certain things. But like I say, there were so many standout moments, and every single match was top tier quality.
Because
it was top tier quality.
I always remember when I can't remember who it was against, but Sean Spears had a match on. I think it was Full Gear.
Dustin Rhodes.
Was it 2 years ago?
Was it the Dustin Rhodes one?
I think it might have been. And
the squash match with the...
This, I think it was 2 years ago, not last year. But there was a match Sean Spears had. Joey Janela. Yeah. Sean Spears versus Joey Janela, and literally an hour later in the show, I completely forgot about it.
I do remember it, but I didn't until you just mentioned it.
Yeah, there's always going to be a pay-per-view. It doesn't matter what company where there's a match happens and you go.
There's honestly not this one.
No.
That genuinely, I honestly mean that. I don't know. I've just watched it,
and it's not like there's pay-per-views where there'll be two people facing each other 1 year and then the next year they'll be against each other again.
Yeah, the thing. But what you're saying there about the Janela and Spears thing, though. There was kind of a story there, wasn't there? But it wasn't really it wasn't great. There's a story behind every match here. Every single match has something. And, mate, I mean, to be honest, you've got to watch it. I definitely would recommend that you give it a go.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. But yeah, if you've, obviously for listeners out there, if you've watched it, then let us know what you thought of the show. But, yeah, I can't wait, really. I can't wait. And I hope that we're going to see him back in April.
Oh, definitely. WrestleMania weekend would be the time they would get probably something together. Obviously, they will announce it. It won't be just secret.
Just got to keep your eyes on social media and stuff, I guess. But I don't know how it affects people on or currently with Honor Club as well.
Mm.
You know, what you get in the meantime, I'm not sure. But let us know. Let us know. And let us know what you thought of the show, because I think that pretty much wraps us up for the week.
3 men, 1 ball. I did it.